Hey there, welcome back to Ask Amy. I have a question today from Nikki. Nikki says, I found your resources extremely helpful over the past few days. I've also purchased your book to get a deeper way into seeing this way of life and my interaction with it. I have questions relating to specifically my need for it. My 6-year relationship that I always hoped would develop into a lifelong partnership is over. I'm in my 50s. Neither of us have been married before, no children. I instigated this breakup by asking again where we were going. I really wanted more connection and security, and that was met with resistance. I'll admit I've always felt he's held me at a distance, and I always thought it would develop into what I desired with time. Either he truly only wants a part-time on his terms relationship, or um, sorry. I'm skipping through some of the question. He says he can't go there again into a longer term relationship with more interaction, which I feel is rejection, that I can't cope with, and I'm not good enough, or something else is going on. Maybe I have deep commitment issues. So she says, a few days into your resources, I can see how much I'm in my head about this, how much my years of self-inquiry and understanding my conditioning and the parental circumstances are making me look through those lenses. This is so huge to see, Nikki. It's awesome. Um, I can see how focused I am on what he's doing or saying and how he's behaving, and reading that against my understanding of my story is not helpful. No, it's not. I've been attributing meaning all over the place and getting it so wrong. I also now realize how disconnected with myself that has made me. My life has become obsessively limited to my relationship with him, wanting it to change so I felt better, and in the stressful space of overthinking and overwhelm, nothing else is going well. Work, family, friendships, health. I've created this and it's exhausting. Strangely, even in breaking up, rather than the desirable moving in together, I deeply feel continued connection with him. In fact, moving in together with my head in that emotionally disturbed space would never have been good. I'm actually happy for the disruption, but I'd love for us to get back together. I don't know whether this is repairable. Do you have any guidance for me? Nikki, I'm so excited reading this. When I read through it the first time, I mean, it's incredible how much you're seeing. Like you talked about this. I want more connection. I want more security. So I asked him again, where are we going? And we all know what that feels like, right? It's that needy, ego-y, graspy kind of stuff that it sounds like you've analyzed and thought about a lot. And many people have. You know exactly where it came from and who did it to you and all of that stuff. But you talk about that, and then partway through your question, all of a sudden it's like a complete flip, a complete switch. And I want to reflect that back to you to make sure that you see and sense and feel that, because it's really huge. When you say you can see how you've been attributing meaning all over the place, paying so much attention to what he says and does, and comparing it against your story of how things are supposed to go. I mean, to see that that's playing out, that this isn't about him, this isn't about you. There's a mental thing there just in your mind that's playing out when your mind is so hyper focused on anything, but in this case this relationship, and it's seeing it through this really biased lens, which is just how our mind sees things. I mean, it's gigantic to see that that's happening. Now, our mind is always filtering things through its own biased lens and bringing in the past and all of that. But when you're onto it, when you know that that's what's happening, and when you know that the signs that that's happening, so the more needy or graspy, or feeling like you need connection, or feeling like you need something from him, all of those are showing you that your mind and those old stories are really engaged. So now you know this, it's not too late. It's great that you see it when you see it. But, the more we can be in that sort of place where, again, we can feel this stuff as a wake up call, as a sign to show us, oh, going into old overthinking stuff that's not necessarily helpful here, it starts to make such a huge difference. And I love how you talk about how you can see the impact all over your life. And it's really all from looking at things, as you say, from this lens of what happened in the past and what my issues are. So how incredible is it that you can start to see, well, maybe there's something beyond that lens. You don't have to suddenly snap your fingers and see life, unfiltered in some way. You can't do that. But I promise you, just knowing that you've been seeing it through a lens, that you, just like you say, that everything is filtered through this old story of all your issues, all your relationship issues, and that you don't need to believe that. You don't need to take that so seriously. That's what removes the lens. That's what starts to take it away. And you will feel when something feels pure and just more true to you and more grounded and secure, not like you looking for something for security, but coming from a place of security and choosing whether you want this relationship or not. You don't need it. You don't need it for anything. But if you want it, great. And if he wants it, great. But neither of you need it. None of us need it. So you say, I deeply feel continued connection with him. Strangely, right? Strangely, I feel this continued connection with him. And I want you to see that that's not strange at all, although I get that it can look strange. It can feel strange when we aren't used to it. But connection is our nature. Connection is there beyond all of our thinking. So what you were talking about previously in this is the form of a relationship. Do we live together? Do we not? Where is this going? What are we? What do we call ourselves? All that stuff of form. That stuff that I've been there, everybody's been there, right? But that stuff that looks really important from a needy place, from when we're looking for something to give us a sense of security. We want to know. And listen, there are exceptions to this. So I'm not saying it's a reasonable question for anyone to ask in a relationship, hey, where is this going? It's not always coming from a needy place. I'm just saying for you, Nikki, in the context of everything you shared here, it was like, I needed to know, and you even say it here, I really wanted more connection and security, so I needed to know where this was going. Well, your mind thought that it needed connection and security and thought that it would come from him saying, okay, here's where it's going, let's move in together. But it doesn't work that way. It didn't work that way in this case. And as you know, even if he had said, okay, fine, let's move in together, it still wouldn't have worked that way, because that's not where connection and security come from. So it's not strange at all, actually, that you still feel this connection, even though the form of the relationship has changed, because connection is our nature. You can be in love with this man as much as you ever were, even though you aren't together in a form that you might think that you should be together in. So that's really big to see that all the connection, all the security in the world is ours already. It is who we are. It is beyond and before all of the mind chatter about how our relationship looks and where it's going. It's deeper than that. It's more fundamental than that. So when your mind settles down and you're not thinking too much, just generally speaking, in any given moment, you just kind of naturally feel pretty secure and connected. Now, if you start thinking about it, you might not. Your mind will come in with its theories and say, oh no, there's no security here because we don't live together, but that's a mind story. So I love that you're feeling, I can really tell that you're kind of feeling the difference there, and it's really, really huge. It's really big to feel that, see that. So this connection, your feeling of connection with him can continue to deepen, continue to grow, despite what the form looks like. He could tell you he never wants to talk to you again, and you can feel a deep connection with him, because it isn't about the form. It's about you feeling who and what you already are. Same with security, same with love, same with all of it. So you don't really have a specific question. You kind of say, do you have any guidance for me? But I think what you're doing is amazing. Like, continue to look in this direction of what's there, and how you already have all of your needs met. Always, always. You don't have relationship issues beyond the chattering mind that says you do. Really get curious about that. Really dive into this as much as you can and see that. And that is going to be the best thing for you, and for sure for any future relationship. It's amazing to be in relationship with someone, friendship, any kind of relationship, where no one needs the other person, where you're just there because you want to be, if you want to be, and if you don't, it's okay too. But it's so different and so great, and I feel you seeing that. Like you're getting, I think this whole relationship feels like it was the opportunity for you to really wake up and see this lesson, you know? And so I would really just focus there. Keep seeing what you can see. And as you see more, you're going to know. Like you're going to know what it is about this specific person that makes you want to be with him or maybe doesn't in time. Like who knows, you know? But when there's not what feels like a need there, everything just opens up and lightens up so much and gets so much easier. And he'll feel it too. When you're coming from that place, he'll feel it too, but you can't fake it. You know, you really kind of have to feel it and keep seeing this yourself. So I'm so glad you found your way to these resources. Whatever you listen to, it certainly had an impact, and I just love hearing that. I can really, really feel it in your question. So I hope this is helpful, and let me know. I'd love to hear kind of how things go for you. So thanks so much, Nikki, for sending your question. Thanks everyone for listening, and send your questions to askamy@thelittleschoolofbigchange.com, and I'll be back here next Monday to speak to another one. Have a great week, everyone.